So apparently the FAA's grounded all flights because there's a computer glitch. Like, why are we all hooked up?
I thought that only happens like terrorist attacks.
Yeah, I know. Well, why are we all hooked up to the same computer? I don't.
Is there a master computer
under Walmart?
Who's going to fix this?
I don't know, but I don't know where David is.
Apparently, okay.
They fixed?
Apparently, it just got fixed.
Okay, where's David?
Where's
sorry I'm late, guys. Sorry about that.
Where you been?
Where you been? Why are you sweating?
Why are you out of breath?
Rough morning, a lot going on.
Did you hear about all the planes?
Wait, hold on, stop, Blaine.
The planes what?
Wait, stop, Blaine. You said they fixed the computer out?
Yeah, that's what.
Where were you? David, Michigan?
I just.
Where were you, David, Michigan?
My car broke down, the dog threw up, the baby, all sorts of stuff.
Really?
Yeah. What happened with the planes?
No.
I bet.
No.
Did it get fixed?
No.
I bet.
No.
I bet.
Did it get fixed?
Yeah.
No.
You tell me.
Do I look like Lois Lane to you? Do I look confused? Do I look confused?
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad the planes.
Your cape showing.
Yeah.
Man, it's a real Fred Claus.
Yeah, zip up your pants, your cape showing. Goodness gracious. It is you. I can't believe it. South Carolina quarterback Spencer Rattler is going to return next season. That's huge for Shane Beamer and company. Sean McVay remains undecided on whether he's going to return to be the head man for the Rams next year. And Carlos Correa continues to bounce around the major leagues like a ground ball. I'm Jake Crane, and welcome to Crane & Company. TCU shocked everyone this year, making it all the way up to the big game before getting pummeled by the Georgia Bulldogs. Now, they showed that there is still a path for long shots out there. And now that the transfer portal is raging like a Hardly Boys clue, they won't be the last. Now, with what they're losing now, I'm not banking on TCU to get there next year. But there is one candidate out there with some similarities that has been down and out, but has the potential to go all the way. We've seen it before. They also will have a first-year coach, and that is Auburn. And I know, I'm from Auburn, so go ahead in the comments, say whatever you want. But just remember, Hugh Freeze has already started supplementing the offensive and defensive line of scrimmage. Okay, you look at getting Avery Johnson, the center from East Carolina yesterday, who was going to transfer to Illinois. That was huge. And we all know the potential that Auburn has. Now, they differ from TCU in that they've been there and they've won that before, but with a decade gone by since their last appearance and their two arch rivals, Georgia and Alabama, fighting the Klingons for interstellar domination, the time is nigh. Now, they're going to be slept on in the preseason, and they should be. Expectations need to be earned, and they haven't earned anything yet. But we know how the chip on the shoulder mentality from not only the players, but new head coach Hugh Freeze can pay big dividends even when going against all odds. They play Bama and Georgia at home, and yes, the schedule is truly a murderer's row once again. Now, will we see another huge surprise in the playoff next year? Who really knows? But don't be shocked if Auburn makes it weird late in the year. All right, David Cohn, David Michigan, whoever this guy is.
Just running late.
Man.
Yeah.
There's nothing like a good Harley Boys in the morning. Just too young.
Anybody who's never watched South Park's going to have no idea what I'm talking about. But if you have, that's hilarious. All right. You woke up this morning. Who thought you'd be getting a Hardly Boys reference at 6:32?
Not me.
Okay. That's exactly. I got to keep the body guessing, right?
Love it.
Keep the body guessing. But is there a team, and there's a couple, Spencer Rattler coming back, as we mentioned, off the top. South Carolina, I know Shane's not in his first year, but they could be a team to really elevate their status. But is there a team out there, David, that you're looking at out of the periphery that could come in there and pull a Sonny Dykes?
I have a couple questions first. So hold on. Are you saying that Auburn's going to get to the championship next year and then lose by 58?
Nothing would surprise me with Auburn.
Okay, wait, but would you...
What's the worst way they could break my heart?
Would you trade that? Would you have traded a 13-win season this year to go to the national championship and lose by 58? Or you're like, man, that's so bad it would be a net negative.
To who?
To Georgia.
I can't.
No.
There's no coming back and getting beat in 58.
No.
I'm a little.
I'd rather... I'm glad Auburn did what they did this year so they could get Brian Harsin out. Like, sometimes it's just good to get the divorce. Okay? But there's a bunch that I think about. I'm not calling Florida State a dark horse. I've got him. I released my early top 10. I got him at number 3 yesterday.
TCU would have been, I mean, that was such a dark horse. Like I told you
that's what
guys
I'm
yesterday, if you gave me 3 opportunities, if you said a team from Texas will make the national title, you get 3 guesses, I still would have gotten it wrong.
Yeah, Texas A&M, or Baylor.
Or Houston even.
Or Houston,
Like if you said there's a long shot team from Texas, I probably would have taken Houston after we saw Cincinnati. Maybe they won a group of 5 team in there. What TCU did was incredible. So that level dark horse.
What about Wisconsin?
That level dark horse.
What about Wisconsin, the Big Ten? First-year head coach Luke Fickell.
They are in the West.
I mean, you're going to have an opportunity. You're going to actually throw the ball and catch it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be crazy. People in Wisconsin aren't going to know what to do.
Again, to your point, though, you couldn't, Notre Dame wouldn't be.
Utah's not one. You can't
Notre Dame with Hartman coming.
Oregon State, maybe.
Are we trying to relevate the dark horse to TCU kind of dark horse?
Well, yeah, just that comes out of left field.
Maybe Kansas State?
But Kansas State made the Big 12 championship game.
Yeah,
it's not like TCU was not expected to do anything this year. You're coming off a year where you fired the head of the program, literally, in Gary Patterson, the guy that's you think about Gary Patterson, you think about TCU, you think about TCU, you think about Gary Patterson. Is there a team in the comments? By the way, go ahead and subscribe. We're on the race to 40K. We're almost there. I think we're at 39.6. Hit that like button as well. Follow us on all social medias. But I'm just, ACC-wise, like I said.
Miami?
Miami would
Miami,
again, year
with
2
as bad as they did this year. I mean, Miami as a program, you never think of the brand Miami as being a dark horse.
North Carolina made the ACC championship game. I'm talking about somebody that comes out of nowhere. That literally comes out of nowhere. Because TCU, guys, has there ever been a bigger... I think TCU was a bigger dark horse to make the playoff than Cincinnati was 2 years ago. And Cincinnati's in the group of 5.
That is true because they did have some brand recognition from the year prior.
Yeah, and look where they were ranked in the preseason. I mean, they were expected to do that or have a chance to do that. So it's interesting looking kind of as the last year of the 14 playoff, because we're getting into the 12-team playoff. Who could be that last team to maybe sneak in there and come out of nowhere? So in the comments, let us know kind of what you think. If there's a team out there that you may think will come out of left field. But Spencer Rattler, guys, coming back to South Carolina. I know Marshawn Lloyd's going to USC, which is huge for the Trojans, who are going to keep Alex Grinch on the defensive side, which I agree with. I do think eventually Lincoln's going to figure it out defensively. Jaheim Bell goes to Florida State, but South Carolina getting Spencer Rattler back, it gives you instant credibility in the portal too. We have to understand that. Now, if maybe I'm a receiver that's coming out late or hasn't decided yet, I got to go play with a quarterback that can get me the ball. Spencer Rattler showed you, especially at the end of the year, you can continue to play like that they could put up some big numbers and you could really elevate yourself, like in Osiris Torrance, who went from the Sun Belt to Florida. I know that was a guard. We're not talking about wide receivers, but guys want to up their profiles if they're not coming from other Power 5 schools. So it gives South Carolina some instant credibility going into next year, and I find that team a little bit fascinating as well, Blaine.
I do too. I mean, the thing about Spencer Rattler is the kid's got he's got everything you need as a
He's got more tools than Home Depot.
He's
got to keep.
He's got a 50 cal on his shoulder. He can absolutely sling the pill. But what's always been the knock with Spencer Rattler's consistency, and you see the highs and lows throughout the season. I mean, hell, South Carolina, you beat number 2 Tennessee, you go beat Clemson. You see the mountaintop. You see what you become. And South Carolina, if South Carolina gets rolling, they're a scary team.
That's what I
especially with Beamer on special teams. You never know what you're getting into. There's nothing harder, especially as a coordinator or the head coach, to already be worried about a quarterback that's phenomenal, a defense that plays hard, but a special teams that you never know what's going to happen. One, they're going to do their job, the routine stuff, the routine punts, the routine field goals, but there's some witchery behind it. There's some Hogwarts stuff behind it, so you got to watch for that. If Spencer Rattler can day in and out, play to the level that he needs to play, don't do too much and don't play hero ball, just be himself. I wouldn't be surprised if you see South Carolina start competing in the East.
Yeah, I wonder where they're going to be ranked in the preseason. That's preseason rankings, and we do it. We make our preseason rankings. I don't even think there should be preseason rankings. I think they should wait till week 4 to release the first AP poll or whatever. But you said a word in there, In-N-Out. Gentlemen, In-N-Out Burger is coming to Nashville. I don't know if you
Tennessee.
saw that. I'm very excited. I had it one time. It was a long time ago when we went to play San Diego State. So I'm, again, animal sauce, secret menu, look me in the eyes. Are we mind-mouthing? I'm excited about
Well,
this.
it's not just a one-off restaurant. The headquarters
Wait, what?
Headquarters coming to Tennessee.
They're going to put the headquarters in Nashville?
Governor Bill Lee said something about it yesterday.
Auburn grad.
Yeah.
Governor Bill Lee.
On Spencer Rattler, though, yeah, I mean, the question is never. I say the question's never been about his on-field talent. He hasn't performed exceptionally well towards the end of his Oklahoma career and in some games at South Carolina. But it's always been more of a focus on character issues and can he remain focused. I think Shane Beamer is the perfect coach for Spencer Rattler. That's why when he came in, I said this is going to be a great situation. Even if Spencer Rattler doesn't light it on fire, it's great for Shane Beamer to be able to tell people around the country, look at the type of players that I can bring in. And I'm going to get the most out of them because, like you said about NBA coaches, I can control egos. That's a skill set that I have as Shane Beamer. So if you have a top quarterback recruit coming out of high school, and Shane Beamer is one of the best recruiters in the country, and you have a kid who's deciding, well, I have an offer from Texas, I have an offer from Alabama, I have an offer from Georgia, and I have an offer from South Carolina, and I really, really like Shane Beamer. They're not just automatically going to default to the bigger brands anymore because, they're going to see what Spencer Rattler has been able to do there, make some plays, win some big games, and then that combined with the fact that Shane Beamer is a likable players coach is going to get a lot of big-time players in there.
I agree 100%. In the Booster Club, tell us, are you a Spencer Rattler fan? Do you believe? And let me know your dark horse team to make the 14 playoff next year. But I'll tell you what's not a dark horse, the best sports book around. All right, and that's DraftKings Sportsbook. They sponsor the Booster Club. The Booster Club sponsors them. And we all know the Booster Club is the greatest grassroots movement of all time. All right, now that the regular season's over in the NFL, it's time for the playoffs, baby. All right, we got the wild card this weekend. I'm super jacked and emotional about it. And our go-to place for the wild card round action is DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NFL. And to kick off the road to the Super Bowl, new customers can bet just $5 and you get $200 in free bets instantly. Take that, Pete Buttigieg. Plus, all new and existing customers can get a no-sweat bet each day of the wild card round this weekend. Just place any NFL bet of your choice, and if it loses, you'll get a free bet back up to $10. Action's so good, why bet the playoffs anywhere else? And David, if you use our code BOOSTER, all right, that's BOOSTER, that's going to enhance that $5 on the NFL to get 200 in free bets instantly. That's only at DraftKings Sportsbook with our code BOOSTER. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply.
I love it.
I love it.
BOOSTER. That's a song.
That is. By the way, somebody said the other day when we were doing the live stream, which, by the way, that was fantastic. We got to do more of that. If you didn't know, we live streamed the Natty, played a little beer pong, dropped some live bets, made some money for everybody. But we talked about Don't Bounce the Power. And somebody's like, that'd be a fantastic band name.
Yes.
Don't Bounce the Power. Fantastic.
Don't bounce the power.
Fantastic.
You only bounce the power if it works.
Yeah.
That's the only.
Well, it's one of those no's. Yes.
Go.
Don't do it again.
Run.
And I would have got away with it.
Way to make a play.
One of
Went
those
for David Michigan, the Harley Boys.
Yeah, all right. What's going on in the club?
Let's go to Jimbo Eagle with the $5 donation. What's up, Jimbo? He says, it is alleged that David Michigan has just partnered with Major Tutty for a multi-million-dollar sneaker deal.
Did y'all do it or what?
This true, or is that just a rumor?
I heard that was not true. I heard that David Michigan would never partner with Major Tutty.
Really?
But I don't know for a fact.
Oh, you heard that?
don't know
You probably heard that because you were talking to yourself, David Michigan.
Every time we talk about this, I was thinking of that Green Hawk commercial.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, when he's like, I'll tell him.
He's got the mask. He's like,
It's like, you left your mask on.
yeah, it's like part of my uniform.
All right, another donation from Jimbo Eagle, $2 donation. Which song best describes this year's college football playoff natty?
Oh, I have one.
Yeah, play it.
I have one.
Play it.
Hold on.
Oh, somebody kill me, please.
That's it. That's perfect. Great job.
All right, let's go to Connor Ron says, Jake betting against the Gators last night proved to be a talisman for the Gators, beating LSU on the road.
You know, I didn't realize LSU had two guys out.
Do your homework, man.
Well, no, it wasn't anywhere. It wasn't reported anywhere that I saw. I looked at every preview for the game possible. Again, why are you guys trying to do this to me? Yeah, look, betting college basketball. It's just, you go from betting college football in the NFL. I think I'm up like 26 units on the NFL, over the past 3 months. Like that college football thing, I'm up like 10. Betting basketball, it's just like getting just pistol whipped while you're blindfolded. Like, I just don't even know where. Auburn scores 82 points.
It's every Thursday.
I mean, goodness, LSU, though. Ooh, Adam Miller? You're supposed to be good at basketball? That man, it's Alan Flanagan. LSU, and I know Alan Flanagan's scored in double digits for 3 straight games.
He's balling right now.
He's, just
Put some respect on his name.
Just wait.
He's going left.
LSU, he's going left. He's not an ambi.
You put some respect on his
He's
name.
going left every time.
Yeah, like they have their own. LSU just can't shoot. How did y'all beat Arkansas? And don't even get me started on Kentucky. Don't even get me started. Y'all lost to a girls team.
Alabama, Tennessee are just top tier right now in the SEC.
Tennessee struggled with Vandy for a while last night.
Well, Vandy's got some.
Well, it's basketball. Like, that's the thing. It's basketball. It's just it's the hardest thing to bet, in my opinion. It really is. Outside of the Big East, where I just take overs. By the way, did y'all see that letter that the Georgetown alumni, like the former presidents, wrote about Patrick Ewing? They're like, "Why? We got to fire this guy." Like, they literally have won nothing. They won the Big East tournament a couple years ago, but have won nothing. And they're paying him $4 million a year. Like, listen, Patrick, just because you're a great player doesn't mean you're a great coach. Just because you're a bad player doesn't mean you're a bad coach. Playing and coaching are two totally different things. There's some things you take from playing. Obviously, experience helps out. But playing and coaching are two different things. If you put Pete Carroll at inside linebacker, he's not stopping anybody. But you put him at the head coach, he'll turn Geno Smith into the greatest quarterback in the NFL history. All right, it's two totally different things.
All right, let's go to Sweet Baby Blaine. Wow, I love that name. It says Penn State has a talented young team. They just won the Rose Bowl. They are my dark horse for the playoffs. This is Penn State's probably going to come in and be a top 10 team.
Yeah, look, I got to see Drew Aller a little bit more. I liked what I saw when he came in. I'm just not ready to put Penn State up there because they can't beat Michigan or Ohio State. You're not getting in. You're not getting in. Now, could they figure it out next year? Is Drew Aller the guy? I don't know how I don't think he's very mobile. It's going to be interesting to see that. So, look, Penn State could very well do it. I know they return a lot, all right, at important places. But I got to see the new quarterback first. That's why I didn't have Tennessee in my top 10. All right, Joe Milton looked good in the bowl game, okay? But that's one game, all right? I've got to see if Joe Milton's turned that corner and started to be able to throw the changeup and the curveball, not just try and throw it 800 yards, 800 miles an hour. That's not playing quarterback. That's just called throwing.
You know Penn State's always going to play tough, but when you replace your all-time passing leader in every single category, and Sean Clifford, we're going to have to see something more.
No, that's exactly.
Sean was there like 13 years, so it makes sense why he's the all-time leader.
He's been there longer than James Franklin.
Yeah, I mean, that's the truth. Midnight Crane to Georgia. What's up, Midnight? Says, get the Flying Dutchman from In-N-Out. It's just meat and cheese.
The Flying Dutchman? Okay.
Y'all like In-N-Out?
I like it.
Again, I had it one time. I thought it was good. I like the animal sauce. The fries, yeah.
I feel like it's just a little gassed up a little.
Well, it is a little gassed up, but what's not? You know what I'm saying? My car is. All right. Me
You're
after
not driving electric?
Eating some of that pizza the other night.
The show isn't.
I mean, we're gassed up.
All right, let's go to James Stalling with a $2 donation. He says, Kentucky basketball, 2 crying, laughing emojis, smiling.
Okay, here's the worst, and I said this last night, okay? The worst thing that happened to Kentucky is the SEC started taking basketball seriously. Not just 3 or 4 teams, not a team that had success, every team. Every team's taking it seriously.
They weren't taking it seriously before?
Not as it wasn't near the forefront like it is now. When you look at the money in the facilities and the head coaches, if you go back and look at the difference between the facilities and the head coaches now, as opposed to even 5 to 7 years ago, it'll blow your mind.
Why was that the case?
I just think they decided they wanted to be good in it.
Football matters that much.
Yeah, like football was always.
They always wanted to win at basketball, though, right?
Well, no, like again, but wanting to win, I can sit here and want to do something. And am I going to put my money to it? Am I going to take money that we could have used for football and allocate it to basketball? Am I going to upgrade or build a new arena? Am I going to pay a coach $3 or $4 million a year? The SEC made the decision, and I would say we were talking with Jimmy Dykes about this 8-9 years ago. And I got to give Greg Sankey credit for this, okay? Because I think he was integral in it, that they wanted to take basketball seriously. Look at the difference in the NBA draft over the past 6 to 7 years and how many SEC players are getting taken now as opposed to then. All the good players, when they'd come to the SEC, were going to Kentucky or Florida, right? Remember, it was Kentucky and Florida. Tennessee would do something every now and then, but nobody, Auburn, Alabama didn't care really. I mean, Auburn from 98 to 2000 was all right, but I mean, it wasn't something that people were like, yes, it's basketball season. You know, it's totally different.
But how is it an SEC decision rather than each individual school? Like,
well, I think it can be both. I think it can be pushed. I think it was pushed at the top, and just like anything, you had a couple schools that hadn't really go in hard with basketball, saying, we're going to make a financial commitment. We're going to make a fundraising commitment to basketball to be able to pay coaches and give them the resources to go compete with the North Carolinas and the Dukes and some of these other schools. And then I think just like anything else, it turns into an arms race. It's keeping up with the Joneses. The best qualities of anything that's the best. And look, the SEC doesn't have the best basketball conference, in my opinion. I would put them at second or third, but not to where they were. You know, they've upgraded their profile, but just like any successful market or business or financial ecosystem, when you have competitive people that are all around each other and they see that somebody else has something, it's the Dylan and Brendan Hulk hands rawhide wallet argument. I want that. I want us to be good in basketball. When did Alabama start being good in basketball? Right after who? Auburn, right? Auburn goes to a Final Four. Auburn starts winning the SEC. Now all of a sudden, Alabama's like, we got to go get an elite coach. All right, they're going to redo Coleman, probably take away some of the seats and upgrade that. Not that it's a horrible place, but Alabama basketball right now is better than the building they're playing in. And I think it's fantastic. I don't care if you're an Auburn fan. I don't care if you're an LSU fan or whatever. I think it's great for the game of college basketball. But I enjoy now being able to turn on an SEC basketball game and it's Florida versus LSU and it's competitive. Like it's not just guys, well, all right, you have these, we'll go on this road game and we don't really have to play well to win. There are no nights off now in the SEC. And I have always loved college basketball since I was little. Love college football. I've always loved college basketball. I've always kept up with it. And it's been amazing to see the transformation. I think it's pretty evident. I mean, if you go to any arena now in the SEC, I mean, it's totally different than it was, at least at most places.
Let's go to Calvin Tillman. What's up, Calvin? He says, dark horse team is riding that white horse to the center of the field. Let's go FSU.
But again, is FSU a dark horse? Like, are we saying they return, 21 to 24 guys? And you've added Jared Verse is staying, a first-round pick on the defensive line. FSU is not a dark horse. They're a thoroughbred this year, buddy. I got them ranked number 3 in the preseason. So, again, I love the dark horse.
You got them ranked 3?
3. Yep. I got Georgia, Michigan, FSU. I'll read it. I'll read it. I literally tweeted it out yesterday. Y'all tell me what y'all think. I don't know if y'all saw it. Y'all tell me what y'all think. I almost put Michigan number 1, David, to be honest with you. Because I keep looking at that roster and what they're returning and what they're doing in the transfer portal, which, by the way, did y'all see SMU has the number 2 ranked transfer portal class on 3?
SMU does?
SMU does. Did not see that coming. All right, I'm scanning. Go ahead, Blaine. Ask a question. I'm scanning for this.
Okay, let's go to...
Here we go.
Let's go to Slay Dog. What's up, Slay Dog? He says, Rattler was mid at OU. Frustrating to watch as a Sooner fan. Wish him the best at South Carolina. I wouldn't say he was mid at Oklahoma. I mean, he had a great freshman year, but obviously he didn't have a great, was it sophomore year? Is that when Caleb replaced him?
Yeah.
So the thing about it, I think his character's changed a lot.
Yeah.
And that's made him a lot
grown
better.
up. I think he's grown up. All right, here's what I had, guys. I had Georgia number 1, Michigan number 2, Florida State number 3, Bama 4, LSU 5, Utah 6, Ohio State 7, Oregon 8, Clemson 9, and USC 10.
Yeah, so you have LSU 5, huh?
Mm-hmm.
LSU 5.
I think LSU may be the favorite to win the West.
I think so too, and Matt Moscona was making that point. Again, you know, there are so few programs in the SEC that are returning their quarterbacks.
That's the biggest thing.
I mean, we have Stetson Bennett leaving, Bryce Young leaving, Hendon Hooker leaving, Will Levis leaving. So the fact that LSU returns their quarterback, that's going to be interesting. I'm still interested to see the Buckeyes. So you have them 7, right? Is that where you have them 7? Obviously, it's the same argument that we just talked about with Penn State and some of these other schools. You're trying to replace C.J. Stroud, but
they always got one, man.
Has proven that they just reload quarterback every time. And now you're going to have all this, like Marvin Harrison Jr. is still on the other end. You're going to return Travion Henderson and Mayan Williams, presumably both healthy, right? They got Stover at tight end, more wide receivers running around. So, and then I really still think Jim Knowles is going to get that defense in order. So I think they're going to be a problem.
You lose a tackle. I mean, hell, you got a tackle right now that's projected the 6th pick.
He's a monster.
In the first round. Oh, he's an absolute bridge.
Harris Johnson?
Yeah, he's an absolute bridge troll.
He's as big as Harris.
I don't know how you don't put Ohio State in the top 5. Because they just have, they'll always have those caliber of athletes running around that field on both sides of the ball. And they always have a quarterback that just pops up out of nowhere and is absolutely slinging the rock.
Every single time I'm like, oh, I'm glad we're done with that guy. You know, like Terrell Pryor gone, that's awesome. JT Barrett.
It's always somebody.
JT Barrett's gone. Oh, we'll win the national championship with our third string quarterback.
It's real when like the backups are transferring out and winning natties.
Yeah. And Heisman's.
When
Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
And leading the Bengals to the playoffs.
That's how you know it's real.
So here's the schedule. Here's the schedule for Ohio State. You start at Indiana, game 1. Man,
it's a win.
You got Youngstown State, Jim Tressel, remember he was, after leaving Ohio State, ended up at Youngstown State. You got Western Kentucky at home. Then you go to Notre Dame.
That's the home and home.
You go to Notre Dame in South Bend, which Sam Hartman transferred to Notre Dame. You got Maryland at home. You go to Purdue. You got Penn State at home, which is big. Then you go to Wisconsin, to Rutgers, Michigan State at home, Minnesota at home, and at Michigan. I see two losses.
Bring it.
I see two losses. I think Notre Dame beats them.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you, I almost put Notre Dame in my top 10. I just could not get myself to do it. It's like putting Texas A&M in the top 10. I just
Blaine
can't do
Texas
it.
A&M.
I can't do it. And I won't do it. What else we got, B?
I'll go to a bowl game first. Let's go to James Stallings with another $2 donation. Appreciate it, James. So, I mean, Tony Barbie was our head coach back then. He's talking about Auburn. Yeah, they really didn't care about
the worst Barbie ever.
Hey,
it's loser Barbie.
Let's go to Jimbo Egan with a $5 donation. Appreciate it, Jimbo.
The Jimbo.
At what point will we eventually see players wearing numbers in the triple digits? Hopefully never. That would look terrible.
No.
There are more than 100 players on a team.
I know, but please don't.
Yeah, let's not do that. I
don't.
don't want this to look like the DMV.
It was like a running joke at Michigan because if you had, so some of the numbers had to get duplicated because we had like 120 guys on the team. And if you had one of the duplicated numbers, it had, I think it was a little R beside
Really?
it, you know, be like, so you're number 12 or you're 12R.
12R.
Like, what does that mean? You're registered? Are you trademarked?
It's like you're on the team too. It's like when they got to look at the tape on your helmet to see what your name is. All right, let's get into our 3 best college football moments of 2022/23. All right, we can sit here and get technical if you want. But I'm going to start, all right? One of my top 3, not number 1, but one of my top 3, it's the App State Hail Mary. Okay, and it's not just because it was a Hail Mary. And I want to run this clip and then give some context behind it. Let's go ahead and play this clip. They're down 28-26 to Troy with 2 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. And scene.
Here's Bryce. Rolling out. Time to heave it deep. Throws it shy of the goal line, and that ball is tipped around and caught.
Wow!
Oh, that's a touchdown!
Wow. Unbelievable. Look at that. With
Incredible.
Game day there.
Yeah, that's my thing. So the Sun Belt, and again, I'm a little biased toward the Sun Belt, obviously, you know, South Alabama and all that stuff. I mean, you had some huge wins by the Sun Belt. I mean, speaking of Notre Dame, Marshall beat them. App State beat A&M. Look at what James Madison came into Division I and did. I can go down the list of big wins. South Alabama should have beat UCLA, to be honest with you. But they got the spotlight. And you only have a very few opportunities if you're a conference like the Sun Belt to make the most of that opportunity, right? You only get one first impression. And to have game day after App State beat A&M, go to an App State-Troy game during the middle of the season, and to have it end with a Hail Mary like that and be entertaining is huge going forward for not only the Sun Belt, but other Group of 5 conferences. They came through. It was already a good game, back and forth. People were surprised Troy was up. But making a play like that and having a moment like that, I guarantee you has reserved another spot for game day going to the Sun Belt. Or the next time a Sun Belt team gives them the opportunity, hey, maybe we should go here. When they're making that decision, looking around the table, the guys with the crowns and the bags of gold, they say, guys, remember the last time we went there? App State threw a freaking Hail Mary, man. It was the best game of the day. So I thought that was huge for the little guy of college football. And speaking of the little guy, my second moment, it was the year of the Phoenix in college football. You just rise from the ashes. And we'll say TCU, right? TCU going to the national championship. That was a rise from the ashes. But Kansas, UConn made a bowl.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt won some games.
Yep.
They beat Florida. And not in a math contest.
Expectation.
Or civics debates. They exceeded the already lowest of expectations. Now they may have some. And then my favorite rise to, not prominence, but from the ashes, Mike Elko and Duke. What a great story. I'm sitting here, it's looking like basketball season, man. Kansas, UConn, Duke.
Yeah.
And we're talking about football? So I thought that was fantastic. And then number 3, the semifinals and the playoffs delivered. All right, I know that the championship game was the ass beating of a lifetime. But the semifinals in the playoffs absolutely delivered like Papa John's, man. So those are my 3 best moments.
I love that.
You like those?
I love that. All right.
And the time David Michigan saved the planes from the computer outage.
Man, thank goodness he did that.
Yeah.
Thank goodness he did that. All right, I want to go to, I want to see your Sun Belt wins, and I want to raise it up a level. September 10th, Georgia Southern beating Nebraska 45-42 in Lincoln. Kyle Van Treese throws for over 400 yards. Look, I grew up in the shadows of this Georgia Southern program. I know how much it means to the community. Grew up in a time where you could go up to Irk Russell at Snooki's or at Kmart and, say hey to him.
Yeah, I can't take you seriously when you say you want.
Guys, I'll tell you what, one breakfast there and you guys would have.
One breakfast and a shot of penicillin.
But no,
the wings are great there.
A program that won 6 national championships when I was growing up. Things kind of took a bad turn after coaching changes, and Paul Johnson left, and it was like we talked about it a lot. What's the identity? Are you going to continue to run the triple option? Are you trying to get into a pro style system? And when you talk about these Sun Belt teams, one of the problems that you have is if you get a coach in who has success, they get hired away.
Yeah.
That's one of the problems is like finding consistency. So for the Georgia Southern program to be able to go in year one and beat Nebraska on the road, I think was pretty cool. My second one was just the Tennessee and Alabama game.
Yeah.
When you look back in the regular season, that whole game was incredible. Tennessee beating Nick Saban for the first time since he's been at Alabama. You knew that the field was going to get stormed. You knew that the goalpost was going into the river. I would expect nothing less from the boys over in Knoxville. We have a clip of this here.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't like college football,
It's a sea of orange.
and
that's how COVID started.
Yeah, you can't even see grass or the
They
ground.
were selling the grass.
And not in
eBay.
Selling the grass
And-
on eBay.
and not in the way that gets you put in prison.
No.
They made a profit.
Yeah.
Not the grass that, the same grass that Les Miles was eating.
So that was just, when you look back at the regular season, there were a lot of great football games, but that one really stood out to me. Huge moment. My third one is a story actually from Michigan. We were talking about Michigan. This is Demetrius Walker, known as Meechie. He was a high school star football player from Muskegon. He had offers to play at the Division I level. He was even getting looked at from Michigan, his dream school. In the fall of 2020, though, he started having knee pain, and he was diagnosed with a rare bone cancer. And this story really blew up when Jim Harbaugh brought Meechie into the program and allowed him to score a touchdown in training camp when there was a team scrimmage. And unfortunately, Meechie passed away in December after a 2-year battle with bone cancer. But it was one of the stories throughout the season that especially the Michigan program was highlighting, and good on Jim Harbaugh for it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
That's
man.
what it's really about.
All right, mine. First of all, that's a cool ass story. I remember looking back on that. Switch it up a little bit. One of my coolest things going back and look on is Jimbo Fisher and Nick Saban getting into about NIL money.
Yeah, that was
A
great.
lot of people forget about
That was great.
beginning of the year, a lot of this. But they were going at it. I'm talking about in the media.
Personal.
Personal stuff. And there's
stuff.
nothing better when two coaches start getting personal with each other. Because that's when you actually see behind the scenes, I'm not going to put a fake smile on just to talk to the media. This is what it's really like.
Yeah.
You want to sit in the office, you want to sit in a room with these guys in a meeting. This is what it's really like. So that was cool. My second one would be South Carolina, man. I mean, you beat number 2 Tennessee. You kind of get the monkey off your back a little bit.
A little bit,
right? You beat them. You go beat Clemson. Your quarterback's coming back. Everything's looking bright. You're climbing up the mountain. Who knows? Next year might be the year you reach to the top. Got to beat Georgia, though.
Yeah, well, the most shocking thing about South Carolina thing is they played horrible at Florida the week before.
Terrible.
I don't think they scored a touchdown. And it's just, we remembered.
Well, I mean, this is Coach Beamer for you.
Yeah.
I mean, my third thing, sometimes the darkest days brings out the best in people. I know Mike Leach dying was terrible, way too fast when it happened. But you kind of saw the best in college football come out and celebrate him, especially in the bowl season. Almost every team had a Mike Leach sticker on their helmet. You saw stories come out that you've never really seen of Mike Leach. And he was just celebrated throughout the world of college football, as he should be. So I know how bad that was and how sad I was and how terrible it was in general. But you see another way when something bad happens, the college football family comes together. We're not just fans, no matter who you
saw it in the NFL, too.
Yeah, no matter who you root for. You could be an Alabama fan, an Auburn fan, an LSU fan, Tennessee fan, Ohio State fan. But when something bad happens to one of your family members in the college football family, you're going to stick up for each other and celebrate it.
I love that. I mean, if you had, there's so many. You think of any other coach who could possibly have died and it would have made headline news and people would have told a story or two. But when that happened, it seemed like almost everybody came out with an anecdotal story of this one time I hung out with Mike Leach and this cool interaction happened.
Well, you find out like how much reach a person like that actually has. I mean, it's and again, like Blaine said, sometimes darkness brings out the light. You don't want that to happen. Just like you didn't want what happened to Damar Hamlin to happen. But look at the response of not only the NFL, but the sports community in general. I mean, it's, again, you really find out in the darkest moments. Now, this is an interesting segue, but look, it can be tough to stick to your New Year's resolution. You're not going to do it. Like Blaine said, you're not. We all know you're not going to do it. You set out lofty goals, you stick to them for 2 weeks, and you fall right back in your old habits. But lucky for you guys, we have a goal you can accomplish today. Just go ahead and knock it out of the way, right? Work smarter, not harder. You don't have to lengthen this thing out. Complete your will at Epic Will. For just $119 in as little as 5 minutes, Epic Will can help you create your last will and testament, living will, and even healthcare power of attorney. Their step-by-step online form makes it incredibly easy. All you need to do is fill in the blanks. You don't have to be, the Neil deGrasse Tyson to be able to do this, all right? So go to epicwill.com. Use our promo code BOOSTER. How do you spell that, David?
BOOSTER. It's going to be a song soon.
That's exactly right. To save 10% on Epic Will's complete will package. That's epicwill.com with promo code BOOSTER. Cone, second baby on the way. You already have your will. Is Aaron getting it done or what?
It's so funny that you say it because my dad was up here for Christmas. My dad and I were setting up his, and we timed it out. It was 5 minutes to get it all done. We had, you just have to set up an account, all that kind of stuff. So I was showing him this, and he's an attorney as well. So he was like, man, this is awesome. This was a great idea. Just the way Epic will handle this. But it's funny you talk about the second kid because we were talking about what the strategy should be because I'm going to have an amendment to mine very soon, like new baby coming any day now.
Yeah.
So be able to add the second child on there.
No, look, it's something that's very important, and you definitely don't want to get stuck with your stuff going to the state or them making decisions for you because we all know that they don't exactly have your best interests in mind when it comes to diversifying what you created. But speaking about what we created, what's going on in the Booster Club, Blaine?
All right, Jimbo Eagle with another $5 donation. Appreciate it, Jimbo.
Thanks, Jimbo.
It's going to college football program win a natty with the triple offense ever again.
No. But, I mean, again, are we talking about true triple option? I don't think you're going to
or
win
RPO.
It. But RPO is a triple option.
It is.
I can hand it, I can keep it, I can throw it.
Yep, it is.
It's a triple option. You're able to throw it. That's exactly. So in that case, yes, they've already done it. All right, we've seen it bleed into the NFL as well. What else?
All right, let's go to Paul Lynch. What's up, Paul? He says, I'm a huge SEC fan, but there's nothing like Big East basketball days.
Yeah.
The Georgetown, Syracuse, and Seton Hall days are just hardcore hoop athletes. Live stream will be awesome, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah, thank you. Here's my thing about Big East basketball. I still love it.
I do, too.
I was watching St. John's last night, which that under hit. That was a personal, not a show bet. But whether it's Marquette and UConn is going to be a hell of a game. It's still weird to me saying the term Big East because we don't have it in football anymore. Mm-hmm. We have it in basketball, and it's weird. Like Syracuse is, we know their conference affiliations and how that stuff works, but that's a fascinating part of college basketball is how some different teams are in different conferences and things like that. But go through the whole Big East. I mean, it's a hell of a basketball conference. Now, you do, like we mentioned with Patrick Ewing and Georgetown, you better figure it out, all right? But I love Big East basketball even to this day. The 30 for 30 on, looking, I believe, Rolly Massimino at Villanova and looking at all those guys, it's an awesome documentary.
Let's go to Rex. What's up, Rex? He says, so what good comes from TCU getting slaughtered? Set the program in the Big 12 back a decade.
Man, it's funny he asked that. I was thinking the same.
Okay. So would you rather the Big 12 just never make the national championship?
No, and I think the last part about setting them back a decade, I don't agree with. But I was thinking this on the way in, and I did want to ask you guys, which I'm so glad that he reached out and said that comment. With losing 65-7, because our thought process the week leading up was like, man, this is huge for TCU. Recruits are going to see this. Even if you go lose by 3 touchdowns, this raises the profile of your school and of the conference, right? 65-7. Can you lose bad enough to where it's a net negative for making the championship? Because I always say it's better to make the championship and lose in anything than not make it at all.
Yeah, yes. Here's how you're going to spin it. All right, because obviously being a head coach, like being a politician, you got to spin everything positive. Mm-hmm. You go into that recruits room and say, see, we can make it there, but we have to have you to beat Georgia. You have the ability to come in and change it. We got there, and we're almost there. It's year one. It's year one under Sonny Dykes. Mm-hmm. Good start.
Yeah.
The only other coach in year one to have a better start is Hubert Davis in North Carolina.
And you can say, look, everyone else lost to them too.
Yeah, and they didn't get murdered in the championship.
But you can say that, though. You could say, everyone else lost to Georgia too. We need you to be able to come in so we can beat teams like that.
That's exactly right. It's just how you spin it. So, look, is it bad to lose that bad on the national stage? Yes, that's not good. But overall, when you take a step back and you look at it, year one under Sonny Dykes, You can always spin it. Georgia's going to get great players anyway. If Georgia lost that game, they're going to get great players. All right? It's going to help Georgia a little bit, but they're still going to get the cats that they always get. That machine's not slowing down. One more, Blaine. We're going to get to 5 big questions.
You okay over there?
Yeah, I'm literally trying not to have the hiccups right now.
Don't do that. You're not allowed to have the hiccups this morning. You look at Dave Mishkin in the eyes and say, I'm not going to have the hiccups.
Say it.
Say it.
Not going to have the hiccups.
Figure it out. Let's go to Lincoln Melts with a $5 donation. Hold on. Excuse me, God. Would you rather have Iowa's OC as Auburn's head coach the next 5 years or watch your rival UGA go back to back again? Hashtag forfeit. Hashtag we don't have the booster probs. Hashtag as long as it's not Bama.
Look, here's my thing. I'm dead inside. So, like, regardless, you know, when it comes to Georgia and Alabama winning, I'm just like a beat dog. Like, you walk in the room,
yeah.
You know, at this point, I'm just dead inside when it comes to Georgia and Alabama is our troubles. But, you know, again, I will say this. Being in the business and coaching for 9 years and seeing how the sausage is made, it takes that fanboy out of you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, look, I like Big Macs from McDonald's. Do I want to go back there and see how they're putting them together? No, I don't. If I went in there and made Big Macs every day, I probably wouldn't want to go eat a Big Mac all the time. I'd maybe want to go get a Whopper or something. Okay, but I'm just, again, you're in the business. And look, I mean, everybody's a fan of somebody. Anybody that gets on there and tells you, that's why, you know, I like when, you know, Cowherd, he's obviously a USC fan. He doesn't hide that stuff. But that doesn't mean you're biased in the way you look at things. I'm harder on Auburn than I am on anybody. But I'm also dead inside. So, like, Georgia wins it, Bama wins it. They made it Auburn State, and Auburn State won it. I mean, I wouldn't be in love with it, but I'm not going to sit there and cry in my hands like Bernice after she took the beaver tranquilizer
Don't
and
cry
cost
like Bernice.
Girl Scout Troop 313 a chance to go to Vegas and play in the ABA championship.
They did beat Average Joe's.
They beat them.
You know?
They beat them.
But rules is rules.
Right, David.
All right, 5 big questions.
5 big questions.
Let's make like a somebody from Alaska and get into it.
NFL edition. I want to start with the Cowboys. The Cowboys, with this roster and this team, if they go and lose on the road in the wild card in the first round of the playoffs, will Mike McCarthy be the head coach next season? And what will be the future plan for Dak Prescott?
I think McCarthy would go before Prescott went, in my opinion. I don't believe in Dak, I'm going to continue to say it. I just don't believe in him when it counts. I believe he makes the catastrophic mistake. It's almost, and he's a lot better player than DJU. Do not misinterpret what I'm saying. But it's like when it goes bad, it goes terrible. There's not, I threw an interception. It's like a punt. You know, 3rd and 9, I threw it deep. They picked it at the 20. No. Dak Prescott throws an interception. They return it for a touchdown. Dak Prescott fumbles. They pick it up and run it for a touchdown. Dak Prescott does things sometimes where I just look around and I'm like, how did you make that? The pick he threw against the Eagles, right to Montez Sweat, He was like, here, take it. It's like on the water boys, like 62. He just handed him the ball. Just Dak makes catastrophic plays. Then he'll go 16 for 16. Then
like
make another catastrophic play.
Yeah, broke his consecutive completions percentage right after that pick.
You can't win Super Bowls going like this. Yeah. Like, and that's how Dak is. If they don't win the wild card, I think Jerry Jones may pull the plug on Mike McCarthy.
But he gave Jason Garrett such a long time. Is that just because it was more personal relationship?
I think it was more personal relationship. I mean, I think, him and Jason Garrett, that was his guy.
Yeah.
And Jason had, his cup of coffee with the Cowboys. This one isn't as personal.
Blaine, what do you think, Cowboys?
Either Mike McCarthy or Dak Prescott?
Well, just
the Dak ain't going nowhere.
Yeah,
I promise you that. Mike McCarthy will be out of there before anything. I wouldn't be surprised to give it to shovel-faced Kellen Moore.
Shovel-faced?
Head coach?
The head coach.
The head coach?
The head.
Kellen Moore?
I wouldn't be surprised by that.
I would.
I mean, with Jerry Jones, I don't know. I don't believe in Jerry Jones, to be honest. He just finds a way to muddy things up to where it just doesn't. It's not a good aftertaste when it comes to the Cowboys. The Cowboys are one of those teams. It's like Final Destination. They're the Final Destination team. You don't have little problems, right? You have catastrophic problems. We don't. Oh, dang, we fumbled. We recovered. It's okay. Yeah. It's like, oh, we fumbled it. We kicked it. They ran and scored. Got the 2. We dropped the kickoff return, and next thing you know, we lost with 2 minutes left in the game. It's always just catastrophic problems. Like they choke.
Yeah.
And some teams are just like this. As an Auburn fan, we could be up. I would rather be down 10 than up 21 in one game. And we will find ways to choke games. Cowboys will find ways to choke games. And there's only one way to get out of it. You got to win it all. That's the only way just to push it out. Yeah. All the doubt has to get out. You got to win it all. Because right now, I mean, if you have to pick a team in the NFL in the playoffs who you think is going to choke, if there was a team, they're going to choke it, who is it going to be?
Vikings.
See, the Cowboys or Vikings, right? Yeah. But I think the Cowboys are a better team than the Vikings because the Vikings' defense is terrible. I mean, they're like 11-1 in one-possession games, which is unheard of. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I expected more from a choking standpoint from the Cowboys and the Vikings.
Well, that's why I said, like, that's why I got so much respect for, like, guys like Will Kane out there who still believe, right? Will Kane, really smart guy, Cowboys fan. He'll call him out when he needs to, but he still believes. He still believes. And I can understand that. I can understand where he's coming from. But I just, again, I look at the Cowboys, and I see the Snuffleupagus. I see the Loch Ness Monster. I see Bigfoot. You know what all those things have in common? And Helen Keller? I don't believe in them. I don't think they're real.
Let's go to the flip side of this matchup here. The quarterback on the other side is Tom Brady. 10 Super Bowl appearances, 7 victories. The offensive line this year in Tampa Bay has been a disappointment. They just hadn't been a good football team. And what I've been saying is I feel like a lot of the off-the-field stuff with Tom Brady and his marriage has like creeped into his play in some respects. I mean, we saw him lead the NFL in passing yards and touchdowns just a season ago. So it's not just like, oh, well, he's finally,
and he's like, what, top 5
showing
this year?
His age. There have been some poor throws this season, some poor decisions on the field, and yet he still finds a way to make the playoffs. They win the division, and you get home field. My question is, guys, is it crazy to think that Tom Brady could lead this Tampa Bay roster, as depleted as it is in some areas, to the Super Bowl?
Okay, there's a few people in this world that I know when they get a chance, I'm not going to doubt them or say that they can't do something. Tom Brady is one of them. All right, anybody who runs a 6.5 40 and can win as many Super Bowls as him, already respect. But you got to get hot at the right time. We know that. Are the Buccaneers hot right now? No. But we got to go back to the preseason a little bit with the Bucs. The offensive line injuries they sustained in the preseason with Tristan and all those guys, it was like just chopped, just back to back to back. And it seems like they haven't been able to have any consistency up front. But it's not just on the offensive line. Tom Brady hasn't made the plays down the field this year in crucial moments that would give you that 11-win, 12-win season. Mike Evans has been up and down. We know Godwin's been solid. With the Buccaneers, with that roster, are you good enough to make a run? Yes. I think that the Buccaneers defense is good enough. I think the secondary is good enough. I think with Tom Brady back there and some of the weapons they have with Fournette, if the offensive line can put it together, if Cameron Brate and those tight ends can come on. Like Tom Brady is Tom Brady when that tight end is that security blanket. When that running back in the red zone is able to catch that swing and go score, which Leonard Fournette is a great receiver of the ball. I don't think he gets enough credit as a receiver out of the backfield. But it just seems like with the Giselle stuff, I do think that threw a little bit of a wrench in there because Tom Brady is this team. Make no mistake. When Tom Brady goes to a place, Tom Brady is the team. It runs through him. I just feel like when you look at the Buccaneers and you look at who they're playing and kind of their path, can they beat the Cowboys? Hell yeah, they can.
They already did in the opener.
Yeah.
On the road.
I would not be shocked. You got this game at home? I wonder if that downfield passing game will yield enough to make everybody take the run seriously and then let Tom Brady operate in the way that he does where you're scared of it deep and he takes everything underneath. And he just nickel and dimes you, then rips your guts out in the red zone. They could do it.
Well, I'm not that worried about the Giselle thing as much as y'all are. Have y'all seen Tom Brady's new girlfriend?
Yeah, listen.
She is an absolute smoke show.
Hold on, the argument's not Tom Brady can't, like...
Well, it was the Giselle thing off
when your
the field.
Home front isn't unified, it seeps into your professional life, is my point.
Well, I mean, I don't think his team's just not that good. I don't think it's his home life. He just doesn't have that good of a football team. Mm-hmm. His offensive line is garbage.
Yeah.
Absolute garbage. You don't have a guy that threatens people down the field other than Mike Evans, who didn't catch a touchdown.
I mean, Mike Evans had, 50 points in fantasy like the last week with those.
Yeah, like the last week, but go to the 6 weeks before that.
No, I get
didn't catch a touchdown pass.
Is this, are they peaking at the right time to be able to lead into the NFL
No, I just
playoffs?
think they're in a kind of a crappy division. That's what I think they are. You still have Tom Brady. Is there going to be check down after check down? You have athletes on defense, but I just don't know. Good enough to win a Super Bowl? Definitely not this year. Good enough to beat the Cowboys? Maybe, because the Cowboys usually beat themselves.
Yeah, well, like, if you're the Bucs, you got to go You beat the Cowboys, you play the Eagles.
I'm looking at the same thing you have. Yeah. But
you beat the Eagles, you're eventually running into the 49ers.
But this is my point, though. It's not like you're in the AFC where you'd have to go up against Josh Allen or Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes or Justin Herbert back to back to back.
Thompson.
What we're talking about here is if you do beat the Cowboys, which you already beat on the road in the opener this year, you'd go face the Eagles, right, which we had as our power ranking top team for most of the season. But Jalen Hurts now, one, he hasn't proven it in the playoffs either. Young quarterback who we still have to see do it in the playoffs. Two, he's been hurt. He's been hurt. Right? I mean, is he going to come back and be 100%? So if all of a sudden you find yourself winning the divisional round, then yes, you do go play, let's either say a Vikings team, which we just talked about on defense,
Bad.
A lot of questions, or possibly the best team in the NFL right now, which is the San Francisco 49ers, with Brock Purdy at quarterback, a rookie.
Look, guys, look at all the unknowns from teams and quarterbacks going into the playoffs here. All right, you look at Geno Smith and the Seahawks. You look at Brock Purdy and the 49ers. You look at Daniel Jones and the New York Giants getting into the playoffs. Justin Herbert, first time in the playoffs. Trevor Lawrence in the playoffs. We know about the Bengals and Lamar Jackson. And then you have the Bills and then, whatever 9-year-old the Dolphins are going to put at quarterback this week. Then you got Jalen Hurts, who we've never seen. But I'm telling you guys, Rashawn Slater has been back in practice, the left tackle for the Chargers. That Chargers-Chiefs game, I'm just telling you right now, and they were my preseason pick to win it, and I know they got to get by the Jags, and it's going to be hard to go down to Jacksonville and beat a team that's shown you they can win in multiple ways. But Justin Herbert, man, he can make the throws. I know they're beat up on the outside, but you have all the ingredients if you're the Chargers. Defense scares me a little bit, to be honest with you. But I am fascinated. I am fascinated to see some of these quarterbacks in the NFL playoffs because somebody is going to set them. You want to talk about turning yourself into a superstar? Go ball out, Brock Purdy.
Mm-hmm.
Go win. You want to win the job?
Yep.
You win the job in the playoffs.
Yep.
That's when you win the job.
You got to remember, Giselle was a witch too, legitimate witch. Healing. We're building podiums,
altars. You're building
altars.
Come on.
Like
if you're
I don't
not
know
the
if his
Pope,
new girls believes in the rocks or whatever they're called, like the crystals that tell you about your feelings or whatever the hell it is. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I know, Tom, it might be a bad situation, but at least you're not back there and they're putting blood on the door just to make sure lamb's blood on the door to make sure everything's good.
Yeah. No,
Right.
I'm with it.
Next one, Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson here, I believe is going to play, right?
Yep.
Playoff game is going to play against the Bengals. What is, we've talked a lot about the contract negotiations for Lamar Jackson moving forward with Baltimore. What do you think the future is going to be for him? Will the outcome of this playoff game here have any impact on his future in Baltimore?
Here's where I'm at with Lamar Jackson. Going into the year with all this contract talk, I thought there was a very little chance that Lamar Jackson's not a Baltimore Raven for a long time. You just see the deal that gave Roquan Smith. It's a lot of cash. But now it's a contract year for him. He gets banged up. I'm not saying that he's not hurt. But, Lamar Jackson hadn't played in a while. Okay, so I know you want to save yourself and be healthy so when you go into those contract negotiations, they can't say, you're hurt or whatever. You went out and played hurt. Now you're even more hurt. So you're kind of damaged goods a little bit. So we're going to take 5% off. I do not think Lamar Jackson is going to be a Baltimore Raven next year. I do not think. Now, where he goes, I don't know. I sat there and racked my brain last night just thinking. I know people are going to throw out a ton of different destinations. Oh, this team needs a quarterback. If I'm somebody like, I don't know, the Texans, hey, you want this number 2 pick and some other things? Well, we want Lamar. I wouldn't be shocked if you saw a trade. Now, all this stuff about the Bears GM saying we're going to have to be blown away with the number 1 pick to take quarterback. Y'all ain't taking quarterback. It's a smart move, right? You're letting people think you might take a quarterback, so when you trade that number 1 pick, you can get more value out of it because they're scared that you're going to take their guy. They're not getting rid of Justin Fields. They'd be the dumbest people alive to get rid of Justin Fields. So it's a very interesting time. But if Lamar, you're having to play both sides. You got to play both sides, right?
The business.
You got to protect yourself, and you want to play and go ball in the playoffs and say, look, now you got to pay me even more money. So it's a business. You got to tiptoe and walk the line.
Ravens, if y'all don't sign Lamar Jackson, y'all are idiots. It's basically that. Y'all are dumb.
Sign him for what, though? Make him the highest paid quarterback?
He deserves to be top 4, top 3.
But is he taking number 4 quarterback?
Lamar Jackson is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Right this second. But if you're signing him, is he going to be one of the best quarterbacks? With obviously his skill set is using his legs a lot, which depreciate an asset that depreciates in value exponentially each year. Is he going to be that in 3 seasons when you're paying him $100
I think so.
million
I think Lamar.
a year?
It's always been an ankle with Lamar, but you go through Lamar's career. Lamar knows how not to get squared up. I mean, you say the same thing about Josh Allen. Josh Allen might be huge, but you're jumping around, jumping over people, running full speed to people. You trust that 3 years from now with Josh Allen?
Possibly not, which is why we were having this conversation about Josh Allen and Joe Burrow. I think, Joe Burrow could potentially have the longest career out of all of them with knowing when to run and when not to run. We talked about this with KJ Wright when it comes to Pete Carroll, specifically with Russell Wilson. But KJ Wright said Pete Carroll and Bill Belichick's another one who know, they move on from players a year or two before their prime time is up, so they don't have to carry the weight of a contract after a player's prime is no longer available. I'm not saying the Baltimore Ravens shouldn't sign Lamar Jackson, because one of the things that is interesting with this is their offensive identity is so tied to what he does well. Yeah. And I think that bodes well for him too. You're talking about going to the Texans. Their identity isn't channeled through this run first mentality, which Lamar Jackson is so good at leading that style of offense. So I think that it's a perfect marriage in Baltimore. I'm not saying I wouldn't sign him or even pay him a whole bunch of money. I'm just saying you have to understand the GM and the ownership's mentality when it comes to, we're not paying him for what he's done already or what he's doing today, but what he's going to do in 2 seasons from now.
Would you pay Joe Burrow?
Yes.
Yeah,
he's had a full ACL, MCL, got sacked 70 times last year.
Whatever he wants.
But you're paying Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Then pay Lamar Jackson.
Well, you're talking about you're talking about the Joe Burrow that just went to a Super Bowl and they're on an 8-game win streak.
No, we're talking. We're talking about injuries. You want to talk about investing in longevity of a quarterback. Joe Burrow, who ripped his knee apart, who gets sacked 70 times last year.
That's the whole point I'm making is Joe Burrow has proven that he can be an elite quarterback while just staying in the pocket. Can Lamar Jackson do the same thing?
Yes.
Can Lamar Jackson 10 seasons from now be an elite quarterback and not use his legs?
Not use his legs at all?
Yeah.
I mean, no, Lamar's going to use his legs to a certain extent. I mean, it's Lamar Jackson, but he can also stand in the pocket and throw to.
Because that's how Tom Brady's playing until 45. That's how Tom Brady's playing until 45.
Well, who else is? I mean, I don't know. Tom's an exception. I mean, Joe sat in the pocket last year and got destroyed. Ripped his knee apart.
And they still went to the Super Bowl.
Okay, but we're still saying injuries and longevity. You can still stay in the pocket and have your stuff absolutely torn apart and run and know how not to get tackled and be okay. I mean, Lamar's bummed up his ankle twice. Joe's knee's broken.
Well, and why is one of them playing then? One of
them's about to play. The Ravens sat Lamar for a certain amount of time because, one, they want him to get healthy and they want him for the playoffs.
I know, obviously, you have the devastating injury to Burrow. I'm trying to think how many games. I know they've played a different amount of time in the league. I wonder who's missed more games. But now that it's kind of a brain blast, Lamar Jackson to the Saints? I mean, that'd be a pretty good fit. I mean, you got
Lamar Jackson be a good
got
fit
Alvin
in a lot of
Kamara.
places.
That's a lot more interesting than the Texans.
Yeah, it's to the Saints. I think that it's just kind of brain
blast. You say the Dolphins.
Yeah, I mean, let's get to the next one. I want to get to this. Get off my lawn. It's my favorite thing.
For the Dolphins though, I don't know. We can get into it a little bit more in the offseason, but that identity is wanting, Tua is such a good fit for that on being able to hit timing routes with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Yeah. If he could stay healthy, he's a perfect quarterback.
Yeah, Tua, I wonder what his future will be.
What did you want to get to, the last one?
Yeah, let's go.
Sean McVay. Sean McVay still uncertain whether or not he's going to be the head coach in Los Angeles next year with the Rams. Some personal things going off the field with his grandfather passing. Will Sean McVay be the head coach of the Rams next year?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Here's my thing, though, if I'm the Rams. I need to know, man. I need to know. I know you've got off the field stuff, but I need to know. He said, and he did, Sean said all the right things. I mean, he's letting the assistant coaches explore, other options. But I wonder if you trade a Sean for a Sean. Sean McVay for Sean Payton? Hey, you go in the booth. Let me get it. Let me get a tag team, right? Let me go in there and get it. I do not think Sean McVay will be the coach of the Rams.
Blaine?
Man, I don't know. I really don't know. I want him to be honest. But you think Sean, if he steps away from the Rams, he's going to step away from the game?
I think so.
He's not going to come back?
I mean, I'm not saying down the road he won't come back. I'm talking about next year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think Sean will be the coach of the Rams. I really do. I mean, 1 year off the Super Bowl. I know your granddad died, and that's a huge loss. But I think it's one of those things you get out of the game, you just start missing the hell out of it, and you realize you don't want to go play golf every day.
Here's an interesting thing. A lot of people are saying, well, you'll have to be sympathetic. Sean McVay's grandfather just passed away, and his wife is from Ukraine, and they're in the middle of a war, and that's why he might want to step away. He was talking about stepping away right after he won the Super
this
Bowl.
is last
Before
year.
all this stuff happened, he was already wanting to leave. So somebody's wanting to leave already, and then they had a 5-win season.
This didn't come out of nowhere. He's been thinking about this, and guys typically go one of two ways when you have that much time off. You realize how much time you get to spend with your family, all right? And you either want to stay there and have more of that, or you're Tom Brady and you're trying to run out the front door because you can't do this anymore. Which way will Sean McVay go? I don't know because I don't know Sean personally. But guys either go one of two ways in this situation, and we'll see. All right. Well, speaking about going one of two ways, there's only one way when you get on David Cohn's lawn. All right.
Oh yeah, let's go, Dave.
There's only one answer. All right. If you're pissing off this 6'7" undercover superhero, secret superhero. So every Wednesday, our 6'7" curmudgeon of a friend, the 70-year-old trapped in a 34-year-old's body, David Cohn lets everybody know what they can do on his lawn. Who's G'ing off your L today, David?
It's been over a week since Bills safety Damar Hamlin collapsed on the field of play, and in lieu of yelling at trespassers, I'd rather commend a few people. When the number 3 on Damar's jersey was facing the sky because the young man lay flat on his back, unable to move or breathe, the men nearest him gathered around with a swift and singular action. They dropped to their knees in prayer. The next day, Dan Orlovsky of ESPN followed suit and led his production team in devotion on live television. I can't remember the last time I've seen that or if I've ever seen that. Then, in the week that followed, our entire country joined in and prayed for a young man most of us have never met or will ever meet. I have no idea which, if any, religion the players on that field practice. I don't know their church attendance records. I only know that when they saw a brother in need, when it was a matter of life or death, they didn't hesitate to call on a higher power. Imagine if we took that approach to prayer, not just in times of desperation, but ceaselessly. Damar Hamlin is now on the road to recovery, thanks to a competent medical team, a top-tier hospital, and yes, thanks to a nation united in worship. The paths forward are clear. We can either use this progress to better create cohesive communities, or we can move on with our lives and fall back into a rut of detestation and division. Only time will tell how we proceed, but this much is certain. Rather than falling to our knees in protest, America is better served when we fall to our knees in prayer.
Oh, wow. That's great, David.
Yes, sir,
Fantastic.
David. So true, man.
Fantastic. And I'm with you, man. I do hope we use this opportunity to really understand that we do need to come together. And we live in like the most divisive time in everything, man. Like, I mean, everybody's just dug in on each side. Nobody takes answers from both sides. Like, I believe in a little bit of this. It's like, I either believe in all this or I believe in all that. Yeah. And regardless, like, that's not, no smart thing has ever been figured out that way.
Yeah.
Well, just saying, I've got one side of this.
Yeah,
if it's on my side, I believe it. Think for yourself.
Everything's just classified now.
Yeah.
I mean, you can classify people in a tweet. I mean, how many characters do you need to classify a person? I mean, say if you don't believe in climate change, you're automatically Republican. If you don't believe in, a certain thing, you're automatically a Democrat. You can't believe in one thing and believe in another and actually be a mixed bag of something, right? So it's automatic. If you believe in this or you believe in that, they classify you as this, they classify you as that. And it's getting to the point, man, where it's just frustrating and it doesn't help anybody. It just hurts. But it is really good to see when bullets are flying, right? When your back's against a wall. It's like when things go down or someone's trying to fight the U.S. or something like that, we still come together.
Oh, we'll squad up quicker.
We'll squad up real quick. The only people allowed to make fun of the United States are people in this country.
That's exactly
I promise you that. England or anybody that want to talk-ish, that's fine. Pull up. We'll be there.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
No,
Great job,
so cool.
Dave.
No, I mean, it was just so cool to see our nation united. It had these like semi-post 9/11 vibes where everyone was like, everyone was praying or everyone was thinking in the same direction for this young man's health. Now, it helped that it was on primetime television, that it was a big-time game. But the very first thing when those guys didn't know what was happening or if their brother was going to lose his life, they dropped to a knee and said, let's just reflect for a few moments.
Yeah.
And an entire country followed suit. And I thought it was worth mentioning.
No, that was fantastic. All right, let's go to a few questions, and I want to get to rapid fire.
All right, let's go to Randy Harbaugh. I don't know if I read this donation yet or not, but it's a $5 donation. Appreciate it, Randy. You said you should have a competition within the Booster Club to write the Booster song like Walsh did with the Sweet Baby game.
Ooh.
I do have to say a couple things. One, Revco did write a Booster Club song to the Creed theme
Yes.
that we are going to play. And I want to give a shout out to our buddy Jackson Cleveland for winning the Bowl Pick'em. He sent us his video. We are going to play it on the show this week, Jackson. Do not think I forgot about you.
All right, that's good to know because I was wondering about those things.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, let's go to Jordog24. $5 donation. Says, with sports betting becoming legal in Ohio, let's go Ohio. I see you moving up a little bit. My life just got so much more dangerous.
Yes.
What's the best bet for this weekend, wild card weekend? Vikings -3? No.
Yeah.
Don't
Yes.
do that.
Do not touch the Vikings.
Those are the Cowboys.
Okay, because you might as well roll down your window while you're driving, roll down your passenger window, and then the seat behind in the back seat passenger window. Roll down both of those, throw $20 out, and it's either going to blow back in the car or blow on the road. That's the exact same thing you're doing by betting the Vikings. My best bet, and we'll go through them. We'll go through some quick wagers here.
yeah.
But hey, man, it's legal now. Go to DraftKings. Use our promo code Booster, man. It's a hell of a code. It's a hell of a code. Let's hit the lines real quick. Let's get this man paid.
Seahawks +9.5. Seahawks +9.5
I like
in the
the over at
playoffs.
42
I like
and a
49ers
half.
to cover this game.
I like the over 42 and a half in this game.
42.5. That's what.
Yeah, look, the Niners on offense are cooking, and the Seahawks on defense would struggle to tackle a math problem in a second grade classroom.
Yeah. I just think playoff football.
I mean, you think it's going to be tight. I like the over 42 and a half. I think you're going to see the Niners score at least 34 points.
I agree.
I mean, it smells 34-17 if I've ever seen it.
Chargers Jacksonville is +2.
Over.
That's +2 Jacksonville and over under 47.5.
Give me the over.
Yeah, I'm a little.
Points will be scored in this game.
I know the Chargers defense isn't great. Just Jacksonville on offense. Trevor missing some of those throws last week. I mean,
I don't think Trevor had that bad.
I hope not. I hope not. It just doesn't just fill me to the brim with confidence.
Yeah. No, understandable.
Yeah.
Buffalo Miami is also
Murder.
over under 47.
Murder.
That one's +9, and we still don't know really who's playing quarterback.
Give me the Bills -9.
Skylar Thompson's still banged up. He's questionable coming into this game.
Skylar Thompson's questionable now.
Coming into this game.
Who's going to play quarterback for Miami? I'm really going to have to suit up and live out my childhood dream of playing quarterback at Miami, following in Dan Marino's
The
footsteps.
first NFL game, you get to throw the Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
Yeah. To
Yeah, and you get to play against Buffalo.
to quote Bruce Buffer, it's time.
It's time. Oh man, Giants Vikings. That one's -3 Vikings, like you just said.
Not
Over under
touching it.
48.5.
No, not even. It's not even there.
It doesn't.
I would take a bet.
It's like seeing an ex walking down the street. I'm not.
I would take Giants money line in this game.
If I had to bet
That's
anything,
money line.
I'd
That's
take Giants.
+145.
Yeah.
I'd take that.
Bengals -7 against the Raven. Over under 41.5.
I mean, I know Lamar's going to play, but
Give me the over.
this is a game I'd stay away from. I'd say because Lamar's got just enough witch in him to make this weird if you really go all in on the Bengals.
You said over 41.5. This feels like a 24-21 game, 27-21.
Then Monday night we have Cowboys at the Buccaneers. That's +2.5 Tampa Bay. So the Cowboys are favored. Over under 45.5. Tampa Bay money line would be +125.
Give me the under. Give me the under.
I like the Tampa Bay money line on that bet. It's +145.
125.
125, yeah. If anything, I'd buy it up to 3.5. Tampa Bay +3.5. Give me that field goal cover at the end of it. But if I would have to bet without buying points, give me the money line Tampa Bay for sure.
There you go.
Love it. All right, let's go to Jimbo Eagle. Jimbo, you're absolutely just dropping bags today, and I love to see it. $4.99 donation. Any chance we could witness Blaine Crane and Charles Barkley do a segment together for at least an hour of just strictly roasting people? I would love to do that.
That would be great.
I tell you what, that NBA
pros.
crew's hilarious.
They really are hilarious.
Shaq and Charles.
Ernie.
Ernie's funny.
Ernie's
Is
funny.
Kenny the Jet still on there?
Yeah, he's not that funny.
Kenny's not really that funny.
Let's go to Chris E. $2 donation. Way too early Heisman candidate picks for 2023, fellas. J. Trav?
Give me Jordan Travis. Give me Jordan Travis,
Really?
FSU.
I mean,
Yep.
Caleb Williams has to be up there.
Drake
obviously.
May.
Hard to win it twice.
Drake May
me
has
Drake
to be
May.
up there. I think Sam Hartman's now has to be up there.
Michael Penix Jr.
Michael Penix
Spencer
Jr.
Rattler.
has to be up there.
That's interesting. How about
Blake
JJ?
Corum
How
has
about
to be
Blake
up there.
Corum? How about JJ McCarthy?
JJ McCarthy up there.
But you had to
I don't
pick
know if
one. I'm
they'll-
going Jordan
they may not
Travis.
Throw the ball enough for him to.
I'm going Jordan Travis. I think he's going to score an inordinate amount of touchdowns running and throwing. All right, one more. We're going
Mike RFF Lifestyle. What's up, Mikey? He says, #Ask Crane and Co. Cone, which player would you like to throw to in the NFL? Blaine, which player would you like to catch a pass from? Jake, which player would you love to shut down at corner?
Man, I'll tell you what. I'd like to throw to Justin Jefferson.
Really?
I'd like to throw Justin Jefferson
He's
or
good.
Devontae Adams.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes. What?
You want Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah. For some reason, it's always in the right spot.
Who would I like
Or
to shut
Aaron.
down? Good answer.
Get your ass.
Travis Kelce.
DK Metcalf.
Oh, he gets slaughtered.
I want to put. Man, you get slaughtered. What?
I
You
would
wouldn't
too,
get off the
for sure.
line.
Well, catching up. Yeah, I would.
No, you wouldn't. If an NFL DB came up, you're not.
I
getting
have
off
a
the
better
line.
chance of getting off the line than you have playing corner in the league.
Of course.
Come on, dog. What do you mean?
You're going forward, and I'm going back.
There's a reason there's not a white corner out there right now.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
That's exactly right. Maybe a better question, who do I like to coach? The answer's Patrick Mahomes. All right, let's get to rapid fire. Yeah, I ain't playing corner. I mean, safety maybe at 30 yards.
Yeah.
A little
At
strong.
turn and run.
You playing free?
I'll play in the sky.
Playing free.
45 yards down the field.
We already talked about Spencer Rattler returning for South Carolina, but we didn't really talk about South Carolina beating Kentucky in basketball.
Okay. I know you can't. I mean, you can fire Cal, I guess. You got that lifetime contract, but 2024, 2025, he can be removed as head coach and become like assistant to the regional manager of the athletic department or whatever it is for an inordinate amount of money. Kentucky's bad. They're bad at basketball. Again. This is incredible.
It's insane.
It's incredible. People give Jimbo Fisher a lot of hell for signing that #1 recruiting class and then doing nothing, but at least he only did that once. Cal does it every year. Cal makes Jimbo Fisher look like Newt Rockney. I mean, this dude does less with more. I mean, it should be a Charmin Ultra commercial. Just have John Calabrese face all over it. Less is with more. All right, less is more, whatever it is. He does less with more. I know basketball. I know pick and roll, defenses, stuff like that, 1-3-1, all this good stuff. I'm not out there drawing up basketball plays. But guess what? You give me 6 5-stars, we'll go out there and play pretty good. And I'll do it for half. Coach Cal is I'm just looking at him and seeing Gus Malzahn. You just don't evolve. It's just you. Same guy. How does Kentucky not have shooters? How do they not have shooters? But Cal, this goes back to a couple years ago when Cal went on that radio and was like, man, y'all talking about like, I don't know schemes. There's a reason they call me the magician. The magician of what? Making good players disappear and turn them into bad players? I mean, I know Kentucky fans are pissed, and they should be pissed. Y'all are paying this guy all this money. He's got more resources than Saudi Arabia, and the dude's doing nothing. He's doing nothing. Get somebody in there that can do it. And they were talking about Cal's going to Texas. If I'm Texas, hell no. At least when Chris Beard chokes, it's a person and not the program.
Oh, that's too soon.
I mean, good Lord. It's unbelievable at this point.
Oh, man. The Bears GM said, I'd have to be blown away to draft a quarterback.
Yeah,
you have
but-
Justin Fields.
Yeah, by a tornado. That's what he meant. He'd have to be blown away by a tornado or a hurricane, and somebody else would have to go in there and make a horrible decision. This is just leveraging.
Leveraging? What do you think, Blaine?
Justin Fields?
Should the Bears draft a quarterback at number 1
totally.
and have Justin Fields?
Yeah, totally. Why wouldn't you? Might
But
as
Justin
well.
Fields a running back?
Yeah, might as well. They're playing this up.
Just
Yeah.
scoot over a little
Obviously,
bit.
they're
Please
playing this up.
don't.
You got to play this up.
You know what they say? The difference between quarterback and running back in the shotgun is at 1.5 yards. Right next to each other.
Yeah. All right, next one. Commanders fired OC Scott Turner. They're not the only ones. The Titans also fired their OC and 5 other assistants. What do you think about the Commanders?
The Commanders, I mean, I'd almost fire Ron Rivera for putting Carson Wentz in that game. I mean, how many times? You want to talk about catastrophic? I'm surprised there's not FEMA trailers just following Carson Wentz everywhere he goes. You had to make a move after the year you had. Then you look at the Titans; they just basically fired everybody but Derrick Henry and Mike Vrabel when it comes down to it, and they should have. By the way, quick side note: Nashville's the leading city to get a Major League Baseball expansion team right now. I don't
Yeah.
mean to jump in on the rapid fire, but please,
Manfred,
You want that to happen?
I'll still be a Braves fan, but I want to be able to go to
I'm gonna
Major
be a
League
Braves
Baseball
fan.
games in the city I live in. That'd be so sick. It was awesome in Atlanta. Hey, I live in a city. It's really the only cool part about Atlanta is I could go watch the Braves, and they weren't that far from where I was from. Give us an expansion team. Nashville would be a great place to have a baseball team. Fantastic plays.
All right, let's talk Major League Baseball for a second. Carlos Correa is finalizing his deal with the Twins, still has to pass a physical. What's going on here? I mean, didn't work out with the Mets because he couldn't pass the physical. Now maybe going back to the Twins. I don't know.
Well, he needs to get Trevor Story's agent.
Well, that was going to be the next topic.
Yeah, well, there's a great segue. You'd think I'd do this for a living. Look, Carlos Correa, I think he's still got some good years left in him, but I got to see the ailment. This is hard for me to comment on because I don't know.
Is it an ankle?
Like, I know it's an ankle, but like deep down, what's going on with it? Because for the Mets to do that, something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Something's wrong. It's not like a small thing. I just... When you play the position he plays, you get the ball hit to you more than just about anybody. So there's a lot of wear and tear on the body, a ton of lateral movement. We all know the amount of torque that guys like him create when they swing the bat and things like that. So it's hard for me. It must be somewhat serious. That's about as far as I can go with it. But if I'm the Twins, if there's even a remote chance that he's okay, I know they're going to cap it at $270 million, they said, but then you look at the Trevor Story situation, that's horrible timing for Carlos Correa. If you don't know about Trevor Story, the Red Sox get rid of Xander Bogaerts, don't re-sign him, whatever. They did re-sign Devers, which I like. They got him for a good price. But then you get Trevor Story, and basically they're going to have to put a computer in his elbow so it starts working again.
Yeah.
He's going to make this the bionic man. But again, with the Carlos Correa thing, it's hard going on the information I have to sit here and say the Twins need to do it or they don't need to do it. That's why you got to just, trust the science, I guess.
NBA, the Miami Heat broke an NBA record last night. They went 40 of 40 from the free throw line, and they beat the Thunder by 1 point.
By one.
Mm-hmm.
40 of 40 is unbelievable.
That is incredible.
Love to see it.
And as somebody who made it pretty far in the Knights of Columbus free throw competition.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this kid right here can shoot some free throws.
Yeah. There's a reason they're free.
What'd you go?
Dude, I went 29 of 30.
Yeah.
You made 29 of 30?
Yes.
That's impressive.
And I was like 12. And it was a normal size
And you
goal.
think you're beating him in horse?
Yes.
No, he knows he's not. He just says.
Well, the thing about it is, like, you can get creative in horse.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not going to stand at the free throw line and shoot free throws.
I hope
Here's
not.
the
If
thing.
he's 29 of 30?
You let me shoot first, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. From the leaf, from the crack in the driveway, behind the goal.
If you're shooting from the crack in the
I'll Luka
driveway,
Doncic this whole thing when it comes to horse. Now, look, I'm not going to go up there and elevate and play above the rim. That's not where I play. I don't play above the rim. I play behind the three-point line.
Okay.
That's where I play.
I like to play above the rim.
Well, you're 8'7".
You're already above.
You're already above the rim.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Yeah, you're
told me-
staring down at the backboard.
If you told me one NBA team went 40 for 40, I would have said
Hurt.
either the Heat or maybe the Warriors. The Warriors for sure. But the Heat, they play that small ball mentality. That's how they beat you. They do the right things.
Yeah, it's just taking care of the little things lead to big things.
Speaking of the Warriors, Steph Curry drops 24 in his
see Steph
return,
back.
but they still lose to the Suns. Any thoughts there?
It's good to see Steph back. The Warriors better figure it out. They better figure it out quick. But it's just that's what happens when you get older, when that core starts getting older. They're in the lineup, they're out of their lineup. They're in the lineup, they're out of their lineup. They're in the lineup, they're out of the lineup. But we already see it with young guys. I mean, Zion can't stay in the lineup. I mean, it's to me, I think we're seeing the end of one of the best dynasties that we've seen in the NBA with the Warriors.
Last thing here. You have anything on NBA, Blaine?
No, not really. You pretty much covered it.
Last thing here. The kid from the Popeyes meme? Our director, Tracy.
Yeah, you got a scholarship.
He got an NIL deal.
NIL deal, that's right,
NIL
yeah.
deal with Popeyes.
Yes, sir.
There you go, man.
You love to see
He's
it.
playing football now. He's playing football. Where's he playing at?
Do your research.
D2 Lake Erie College. Come on, man.
Man,
Getting an NIL deal.
getting weary in the Erie.
Love it.
Love to see it.
That's all I have.
All right. Also, NBA Spider dropped 46 on his return to Utah. All right, guys. Our DraftKings bet of the day. We're going to get into that in a second, but I want to tell everybody, if you want to watch the rest of this, all right, if you want to watch the rest of this, make sure you go to the Daily Wire Plus. You can listen to the rest here. Become a member, listen on Apple, Spotify, wherever you go get your podcast, subscribe. Leave a 5-star review and share it with your friends. We have our DraftKings bet of the day coming up, and then our bets. There's some fantastic college basketball tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about it when we get back. All right, today our Booster Club bets are sponsored by DraftKings. Remember, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use our code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, because new customers can bet $5 on the NFL and get $200 in free bets instantly. But that's only at DraftKings Sportsbook and only with code BOOSTER. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. It's the wild card, guys. This weekend, we're getting this party started.
Yes, sir.
Got DraftKings. It's the move. Hashtag the move. All right, DraftKings bet of the day. We got some candidates here, fellas. But Coney, I know you're going to get to your bets and you're feeling Alabama, but Blaine, is there one out there tonight in college basketball that you're just staring at?
College basketball?
Or just anywhere that you're just super NL with?
You know, there's a lot of good NBA bets out there, I think. I mean, I love the Grizz tonight. I mean, I love with the Nuggets tonight. I always love betting against the Suns, to be honest, because the Suns find a way to lose games.
When that thing goes out, we're all going to die.
Yeah, so, I mean, anything. I like sticking to NBA a little bit more in college because I feel like college, you just never really know.
Man, I feel like it needs
well, in NBA, it seems like these guys are professionals.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I can usually watch the game and be like, you know, John Morant's probably going to play pretty good and jump 80 feet in the air. So, I mean, there's certain levels to it. I'm an NBA guy. Right now, college, I just don't know. I don't think
How are we feeling? I mean, I'm loving Marquette and UConn at the over at 147.
Okay.
I mean, both teams averaging over 80 points a game. Sanogo's a go-go when he goes low down there. Maybe the best center outside of that thing that Purdue has running around.
Arkansas on the road.
No, Arkansas at home versus Bama.
No, I'm saying Alabama's on the road.
At Arkansas,
nice.
I like Bama in that game. Bama's a better basketball team than Oregon.
But see, here's the thing, though. Here's where I get weird with it, right? Arkansas's 1-2 in the SEC. You got to win this one.
Mm-hmm. And they're at home.
You've lost to LSU. Hey, you went to Auburn and lost to Neville Arena. Who hasn't? They've won like 30 in a row there. That game is fascinating to me. The over-under is 153.5. I know Alabama's good on offense, but I just feel like Arkansas plays better defense than that. So what if we'll come together at the end, have our DraftKings bet of the day. Right now, Blaine, you pick it with the NBA. You pick it. You pick it today.
The draft, do we just want me to take a bet from the show bet or a different bet?
That's fine.
Okay, give me the Grizz. You know what? God, that Jalen Green first basket looks really good. Give me the Grizz, Nuggets, and the Celtics all to cover. Not to cover, just money line straight bets. Plus 120. I'm really liking those bets.
Okay,
I don't feel like you can go bad. Whoever the Suns are playing, I believe the Suns are playing the Warriors. Let me double check this.
They did last night.
Yeah, they usually play back to back, don't they? No, the Suns are playing the Nuggets.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
So give me the Nuggets right now. Pretty damn good.
Jokic?
Pretty damn good. Give me the Nuggets in that game. I feel like they'd cover too. Maybe that spread's at -9, 9.5. It's probably going to go up a little bit. I would think that money's rolling in on the Nuggets right now.
All right, here's what I got today, fellas. Give me Alabama, Arkansas under 153.5. All right, I just feel like you're going to play too good a defense. You're going down there to play Arkansas. Brandon Miller's a Paul George clone. I love the Sears kid, the transfer from Ohio. But I'm going to parlay that one with Wake moneyline against Florida State, who has been an absolute five-alarm fire as a basketball team this year. That is plus 143. Then my second bet, we talked Big East basketball earlier, guys. Hell of a matchup, top 25 matchup tonight. A fantastic UConn team that can win the national championship. Playing a Marquette and Shaka Smart team that's already had some big wins. They've been a little bit up and down, still in the top 25 there at the back half of the AP poll. Give me the over 147. I think we have an offensive explosion tonight. Explosion offense. Over 147. That is going off at -110. David, what do you got?
A lot of great matchups tonight. I'm excited about two in particular. One is in hockey. The Preds on the road at the Maple Leafs. Should be a heck of a hockey game. I'm going to take the Preds plus 1.5 goals. That's at -150. And then I'm also going to take Alabama while they are on the road at Arkansas. I'm going to take them money line -110. Should be a heck of a basketball game. I'll tell you what was a great one last night, boys. Michigan State at Wisconsin really lived up to the hype.
I'll tell you, Michigan State, after starting out a little bit rough, back-to-back wins over Michigan and Wisconsin, playing pretty well. Baby Cone's going to go UConn money line on the road tonight. That's going off at -140. And then Xavier money line at -165. I believe Xavier is at home. But that's going to be our draft. We're going to tweet out the DraftKings bet of the day. It's going to be Blaine's. He's taking the Celtics, Grizzlies, and Denver Nuggets. That's a money line parlay at +120. Use that code Booster on DraftKings. Blaine, Booster Club, friendship.
Yeah, I need that to come through now, to be honest.
Huh?
I need that.
A lot of pressure now?
Yeah, well, that's why I did it.
I didn't know I was walking into this.
No, I wanted to put you on the spot. Look, we're going to find out tonight.
We are. I wish we would have done this last night, to be honest.
Yeah, well, guess what?
Somehow I went 2-0. Didn't even know I went 2-0 last night. I for sure thought the Heat lost. for sure.
Is that one that check the scores? It's done. I'm not watching.
Well, the thing about it is I also caught up in the South Carolina-Kentucky game. It's getting a pump in watching the game.
It was 21-8 at one point. I couldn't believe it. Dude, South Carolina.
And the thing about it is like,
G.G. Jackson's nice, but South
with
Carolina's
Kentucky, like you're watching them, it's not like oh well, they're just missing shots. They're a really good basketball team. They just don't look that good.
Yeah.
Like usually you look at Kentucky and they're like, yeah.
How can that be with Sheboy having come?
I don't know, Dave. I feel like that's what everybody's asking, to be honest. Let's go to Travis Elrod, hashtag Ask Crane and Company. What's up, Travie? Says, in minor league baseball, one of the best live sporting events there is. I think so. Go San Antonio Missions.
Look,
what a name.
Yeah, I love the names of minor league teams. I mean, you got the Montgomery Biscuits. I had Reed one time. She was like, that's so stupid. I was like, well, it's typically they name it after something like locally, right? Like the Biloxi Shuckers or whatever down there. I mean, oysters in the bay. That's what makes it cool to me. I mean, you got like the rock climbers and the one-eyed dwarfs and the.
It's a sore subject for me.
Yeah, it is.
It's a sore subject. The Savannah Sand Gnats, when I was growing up, was the perfect minor league baseball team.
And they change it to the Bananas?
The Savannah Bananas.
What are we in the jungle?
The Savannah Bananas. I don't even want to talk about it now. It's just the whole show now.
You're not a big. You don't like all the TikTok dances.
The Savannah no, and that's another.
They're
part
out
of it too. That's another part of it.
They're
too.
out there twerking on the mound and stuff.
It's not even baseball.
I'd hit every one of them. We'd be down 13 runs in the first inning because it just kept hitting them.
All right, let's go to Mike RFF Lifestyle. Cone, will Blaine ever be the one to G off your L?
I don't know. Look, I take these things on a case-by-case basis. Blaine's my boy, but sometimes people trespass.
Yeah. Ooh, really be your own. Let's go to Ride High's hashtag Ask Tip Boys. Which lower-level NFL team you see reaching the almighty upper mid-level next?
Upper mid.
Who's gonna hit upper mid-level? So I think you got to take a team that didn't make the playoffs this year. I would say the Lions.
I like that pick.
That's a good pick.
I like that pick.
I'm slowly, weirdly becoming a Lions fan.
I kind of am too.
Yeah.
Well, I spent so much time up there when I was in Ann Arbor. I just see how passionate everybody is about this.
I don't know. They're just gritty and I like them.
Mm-hmm.
I like what Dan Campbell's doing up there. I feel like that dude's like one of the guys that he has that bent, cast iron pan in his office. He's like, oh, I just did that one day. We had a defensive lineman do that one time. He literally took a cast iron pan.
Cast iron?
Yeah, and bent it. I swear. Our D-line coach kept it on his desk.
Like, yeah, you play football here. You line up. Go ahead. You're here.
Don't kill me.
Don't leave.
Yeah. It's like, wow, I gave him a hug and his head popped off.
Let's go to Connie Ron. He says, has Crane and Company done tour of Nashville? That would be informative.
Ooh. We hit maybe some great.
I wish we could do one of those things.
I'm going to put that down.
Point out landmarks.
I'm going to put that down on our
like
bonus
Vince Vaughn on the breakup.
Just like
I'm on the bus every damn day.
I would love for us to do that.
Which, by the way,
we need to get together with the Practical Jokers to get something done.
Yeah, we need to get so you and our boy can just hug for 3
I miss that hug.
Again.
That's one of my best hugs.
That's one of the best hugs I've
top 3 hugs of my life.
That's a top level hug.
The thing about it is, like, in a past life, we've hugged before.
For sure.
That's how
you and Q?
Yeah. In a past life, we've hugged before. That's why it was so natural.
I like that.
It was so natty. It was so natty.
What else is in the booster club?
Let's go to, we're getting a lot of Broncos Jim Harbaugh talking here, Dave.
Yeah.
When there's smoke, usually fire. What do you think? Harbaugh to the Bronchies?
I think it would be like if you're going to make that move, just like what Jake was saying, you're doing it to try and win a Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You have a quarterback there in Russell Wilson. Look, this guy made really Alex Smith's NFL career. Remember, Alex Smith went number 1, always underperformed. All of a sudden, Jim Harbaugh takes over at San Francisco, gets the most out of Alex Smith that we've ever seen any coach get out of in the NFL. Could he really have a resurgence with Russell Wilson's career there in Denver? I think it would be a good spot. I'm also just interested to see the Colts because, again, he played at the Colts, right? He played for the Colts. And what are they going to do? They have a top 5 pick as well. I think they're number 4 right now. Maybe you could get a quarterback. I don't know what he's going to do. Why not just stay at Michigan, win a national championship first? Here's the thing. If Jim Harbaugh is always going to be able to be a head coach in the NFL, no matter what he does in college, every year this happens. Every year he's going to go to the NFL. So if you always are going to have a spot, and every year there's always going to be an opening, there's never not a year where an NFL coach doesn't get fired, then why don't you just go ahead and win the national championship at Michigan first if next year's supposed to be your best roster? J.J. McCarthy's returning, Blake Corum's returning, you signed the number 1 transfer portal. You're always going to have the NFL to go back to.
Yeah, for sure. Look, again, I'm sitting up here trying to guess what Jim Harbaugh's going to do.
Can't
Deep
do it.
down, gun to my head, I think he's going back to the NFL. Like I
Right
said.
now or at some point?
Right now. Because I think every Christmas he has to go look across the table at his brother who beat him in the Super Bowl. That's tough, man. That's tough. That's real tough. Even I know they have a great relationship. Sure, they love each other and stuff like that. But I mean, when he lays his head on the pillow at night, you know, who does Papa Jack Harbaugh give the best presents to? I don't know. Maybe a Super Bowl champion son, not the weird one who blew it.
The weird one who played quarterback in the NFL?
Yeah.
That's still pretty cool.
No, it is cool. But would you rather? Let me ask you this: would you rather win a Super Bowl as a head coach in the NFL or play quarterback in the NFL and never win one? I wonder if you asked Dan Marino that.
I mean, I'd take Dan Marino's career in a heartbeat. But
Well, yeah, but what if I told you could be the head coach that won a Super Bowl? That's a tough one.
I'll get back to you.
Yeah, that's a tough one. All right, last one.
Couple things here. We'll get to this in the poll. Reed Ricketts, she says, yeah, see, dumb names. Who's intimidated by bananas except Mario?
Reed Ricketts. See, she gets it.
Except
she gets
Mario.
it.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, well, there's some that are bad. They're not all great.
No. Your concept was usually minor league teams have awesome names.
Yeah, and they're like regional. Yeah.
Yes, that's all, and that's what Savannah's used to be.
Yeah.
The sand gnats. You only find the sand gnats down there, and they're not to be trifled with. You think a mosquito is
Why would you
bad?
not name them the Savannah Urkers?
The Urkers.
Urk Russell.
Oh. Okay, I see what you're doing there.
Yeah.
You should be on the committee.
They should let me name the minor league.
Hold on. What's Ryan saying? Ryan, what are you saying back there? Making bacon? Making bacon and Macon. That's the minor league baseball team.
Making bacon?
That's what Ryan.
Of course.
I love that.
That's perfect.
All right, poll.
Poll.
Who is the best beer pong player in the world?
That's today's poll.
Lane or the field?
The
I demand a
field.
rematch.
The field.
You're not okay. You can get all the rematches you want.
How did this one get started?
I believe it was Jimbo Eagle said he could kick my ass in beer pong.
Well, I'll take the field. 90%.
Yeah, I'll take the field there.
What's your percentage? We do this every day.
I'll say the field, 81%.
90.
Really? Okay. The field, 61%.
They believe
That's
in
a lot.
Blaine, man.
There's a lot of people in the
all
world.
the people in the
There's
world.
a lot of people in the world. You been to
That
Hong
38%
Kong?
out there. Love you guys.
Yeah. Wow. That's high praise. All right, guys. Anything parting shots here?
No, let's go.
Man, great show, guys.
Yeah.
As usual, got some great guests coming. Barrett Sallee tomorrow. Tom Luganbill on Friday. We may get old Matt Walsh in here too. Talk a little
Ooh,
Ravens.
Maddie's coming
He's
in.
a Ravens fan. See what he thinks about Lamar. Make sure you follow us on all social medias. Really appreciate you guys. Make sure you sub. We're almost to 40K. And share all the Apple Podcasts and Spotify shows you can if you listen to it that way or watch it that way when you're watching the road, I guess, if you want to classify it as that. But like the chances of the Lions being in the playoffs and Aaron Rodgers playing for the Packers anymore, we're going. Gone.